So I just heard this crazy statistic that kind of shocking, but then again, we already knew it was bad in Atlanta and Fulton County. I think that's downtown Atlanta. It's where a lot of the homeless migrate. It's where a lot of people come and feed the homeless. That's when you have a lot of ruckus with the police because people don't have permits. You just want to feed the homeless. It's just like, I can't give this guy a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? This young lady and her kids. I can't give them a. But they said 70% of AIDS, of HIV, Black women have, among them, they have 70%. I mean, it's startling just to think about that. One out of 10 Black women, 7 have HIV. I even seen some stories where, women were doing stuff like spitting on people. And there's a case where a young lady said her HIV is like you can't get it from her. There's another case where a young lady was just going around having sex with different people because of something that happened to her. So she was just going around spreading her legs. She was young too. She's like 22, good looking. She's just like, yeah, I'm doing it because, they hurt me. Not all of those cases were in Atlanta, but some of them actually were in Atlanta. Let's face it, HIV is all over the world by now. 35 million people have lost their lives to it. Now you have people who are living longer. No thanks to Robert Skrilling, who jacked up the price of the medicine to $750 a pill. People who live with it are living longer because they're finding out how to eat better, thanks to Dr. Sabian and other people. Rest in peace, Dr. Sabian. But nonetheless, now that they know what it is, people are fighting back at home. They're eating the vegetables that, keep them a lot more healthier instead of constantly eating meats that are not making them healthier, they're making them sicker. Or eating other products that don't stave off any virus, anything from a common cold to chicken pox, the measles, all that, any virus. So people are becoming, they're self-medicating themselves by what they choose to eat, which is a good thing. And medicine itself is advancing. Also a good thing. However, when you have a population, okay, this is what's happening. Fulton County is ground zero. That's what's, okay. So you have, like I said, you have a large homeless population that what up, 2121? You have a large homeless population that are not protecting themselves. And being that everybody's in the same situation, everybody's trying to stay warm, you find people holding on to other people and, they, coupling up and then boom, but they're not coupling up and then marrying. They're homeless. They're vagabonds. Okay, there it is. I stayed in Atlanta for a year or so, but I visited a lot because my little girl lives down there. So when you have a situation where people are going from person to person, person to person, not even on purpose, it's just happening. When one person gets it, they give it to the other, give it to the other, give it to the other, give it to the other. Then that person gives it to the other, and it just blah, 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 blah. Now here's the thing, because as a matter of fact, let me play you this excerpt that this doctor in Atlanta said.
Hello, everyone. I just heard some very strikingly sad news today on the public radio station. I don't know how true it is, but it's very significantly important for the public to know. I just heard that 7 out of 10, 70% of African American women in Fulton County are HIV positive. That's the statistics, and it's very grim. Take charge of your health care and know your status.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
So he said he heard this on public radio. Yeah, I know. What's going on, Kishko? How you doing, baby? So he said it's on public radio. So if it's on public radio, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. But nonetheless, the statistic I last gave you guys about the HIV in Atlanta, that came from an actual doctor. And this guy is an actual doctor. What I'm telling you, I feel you on Atlanta, HIV, black women. Too many things in Atlanta. You know what I want to say? Warm is cold in San Antonio, Texas. Real talk. Yeah. I'm good. I'm off the muscle relaxer, so I try not to do too much because they really mess with your head. So I just been in the house, not doing too much, just been chilling. But I'm good. I'm hanging in there. And thank you for asking, by the way. So the statistics we last talked about, it was 50%. That wasn't even a year ago. That just shows how fast it's growing and grow. And like I said, listen. You will find something that's really strange. Homeless people are a lot more healthier than what you think. One, you don't really see a lot of fat homeless people. You really don't. You know why? Because they're always moving. They're always moving. You know what I'm saying? Now, they have habits that are, of course, unhealthy. Some they can help, some they can't help. You know what I'm saying? Some of them might have just lost your job, boom. They're unemployed, boom. They're homeless. And you got some people, drugs, so on and so forth. Little girls who run away from their parents, then they're out on the street. You have all kinds of stories going on. But they got the nerve to talk about Brazil women. That's a large population. I heard too. My brother goes back and forth to Brazil, helping out the people in the favelas. He likes to help the children. So he'll go over there and kick it with the parents that are in very poor neighborhoods, and he'll buy them school stuff. So whenever school comes, my brother packs up his stuff, heads to Brazil, gets them all kind of school stuff, distributed through the parents, and he rocks like that. And then he'll come back a couple weeks later. The kind of yeah, and we're gonna have us all. Well, here's it. The whole condom game was first for protection. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It was for protection. Then people didn't like the way they felt because it was unnatural. So then people stepped up the condom game and said, this feels more natural. But you know what happened when they did that? They became thinner. The condoms became thinner. And then when the condoms became thinner, what happened? They started breaking. So you have all of these people, pregnancy issues. We wore a condom, but the condom breaks. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you really going at it, I don't want to be graphic, but I'm saying, yeah. So that was the whole game with the condom issue. Because remember, condoms were like, you can put like a whole jug of water in the freaking condom and it would be like, boom, you can't do that now. You can't. You just go out and buy one and try to put a whole thing of water in it. it'll break like that. And this is coming from the people who were pretty much listening to people complain. I don't want to use a condom. I don't like I don't have any feeling. Then you have all kind of other situations that stem from that, depending on who the couple is. But like I said, they got thinner, then they got flesh colored, then they got, all this other stuff to them. But what happened is the elasticity is a lot less. And so now you have situations where the condoms are not, you know what I'm saying? You go out and buy a pack of condoms now, you better buy some of them really, really old style Trojan type condoms. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing is going to hold up. It's going to take away some of the feeling, but when you're done, you're going to feel, you're not going to be like, oh my God, did I get this person pregnant? Was there any sexual transmitted disease? Another thing is some of these sexual transmitted disease, it's not necessarily sexual. Some of these diseases are being transferred through the mouth. Some of them are, transferred, like Arthur Ashe, blood transfusions. That's how he died of AIDS. He had a blood transfusion. That was it. It's like, come on, man, one of the greatest tennis players in the world, blood transfusion. That's how he died of AIDS. And I can go through, as far as medically, actually, Keisha Cole could probably educate us on that too. Medically, how the nurses go through their, they have a preparation at the end of the day for the next day where they have color-coded, IV bags and all this other stuff. And so things can often go wrong. There was a case where a nurse who worked there for 22 years or whatever had switched an IV bag. The IV bag had a certain type of medicine in it. And when it was time to operate, the other nurse came in and put the IV bag into the man. He had a heart attack. He lived, but he was allergic to the medicine because it wasn't for him. So those are some medical malpractices that happen, just by accident. But it could have cost the man his life. It almost did. But they was able to, find out exactly what had happened to him. So, but that is the issue with condoms now, and you have to be careful with them. That's what I'm saying. I think you work in that area, but you really do have to. The only reason why I know about it is because I did a paper on it, and so my degree had me do a lot of research, and I'm trying to get into grad school, so that's going to be actually a whole bunch of more research. But I like researching these issues because it educates me on what's going on in that atmosphere, but I'm not actually working in it yet. I will be soon though. And but like I said, now years ago, I met a guy. You should work at a hospital. Well, what's going to happen is I'm looking at volunteering at some spots, and then there's some other places that are doing internships, but they're all paid internships. And it's going to sound weird, but I don't want a paid internship right now. So I got to figure it out. I got to figure it all out. Nonetheless, when I was going to an OU, I was going to OU years back, some 12 years ago. They had a guy come in and give a speech, and he had HIV. I mean, this guy was like 6'4", yoked. I was like, it totally changed my mind on what somebody with HIV looks like. And he was like, how I got it was, I think he got it sexually transmitted. And, his T cells, start going down. His body wasn't creating enough T cells and all this other stuff. And, but he looked healthy as a horse. He really did. And basically, he started talking about the medicines that he was taking, and he has to take all these medicines every day. Things have changed from then. Now, for one, the medicines aren't as expensive. Two, they're finding out that insurances cover a lot of those costs. Three, you had 35 million people die from AIDS. So, and that's horrible. But you know what also creates a market. So you have all of these pharmaceutical companies that are like, I got to get a piece of this. You know what I'm saying? There's more and more places that are making what they really are is generic medicines. Most of the medicines, I would say maybe 60% of the medicine you take is generic. It's not the original medicine. It isn't. If you're taking medicine for your heart and you look at it, when you ask the doctor about it, the doctor's going to say, oh, that's a generic medicine. Because the originals are a lot more expensive. So the doctors don't really go after, the originals too much. They're pilfered the generic, the knockoffs, and they're doing just fine. All knockoffs are FDA approved too. So, you have that whole thing, you know what I'm saying? The Department of Health is not going to say, hey, just go over there and just grab something and take it. So you have that whole thing going on. But a lot of your medicines that you're taking, it's all generic. It's all generic. Another thing about a lot of the medicines that you're taking, a lot of them are plant-based. So you can find plants. I'm not telling you to go out and look in your backyard and start digging up weeds, but I'm not telling you not to explore natural avenues of healthcare. So let me get that straight. A lot of things that you eat counteract a lot of things that's happening to you. Nature finds a way. So if you're constantly coming down with the common cold, if you're if you're having, respiratory issues, if you're having issues with your weight and you can't seem to burn off that fat, there are plenty of foods that actually burn off fat. If you're like me with arthritis, hey Tom, what are you talking about? Oh, we're talking another why I left Atlanta. We just got a staggering report. How you doing, Nicole? That 70% of African American women in Fulton County have HIV. Now, and like I said, there are a lot of natural avenues that you can take. American Black got AIDS too. Black's got AIDS too. American Black women just hate because Brazilian women are beautiful. That's why you're about to start a whole well, I tell you what, Robert, if you wanna go there, I'm not a woman, so I don't know the whole argument with that. But I can start looking up some statistics through the CDC. Now, we start looking up statistics through the CDC, you're going to find out that, the population of women who have AIDS in certain countries, you're going to start finding out the truth because this is research that they do. You can also find out this information through WHO, World Health Organization. It's not like it's hidden from you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, be careful. Be careful because, and the only reason why I'm saying that, Robert, is because there's an AIDS epidemic everywhere except Nigeria. There's some places in Nigeria where AIDS isn't, like in Lagos. They don't have AIDS. So, but nonetheless, Brazil has been touted to, those people have, but they didn't just say they're women. They're saying the people, So I don't know the whole argument between the Black women, African-American Black women and Brazilian. I know they're both in competition for men because there's been a large group of men who have migrated to Brazil and are actually marrying those women and bringing them back over into America. That is happening a whole lot, simply because of, the confusion and hatred that the African-American male and female have for each other. So the males are like, okay, fine, I'll just you know, jump a plane, couple hours, boom, I'm in Brazil, snatch up one of the chicas, and you know, so that is what's happening. American black women just hate it because Brazilian women are beautiful. Well, like I said, you got some beautiful women over here. There's some African American women who are stunning. So you know, it's that argument what you're talking about, Robert, has nothing to do with so much the way the Brazilian women look. They're gorgeous, but that's not what's going on. It's the different attitudes that African American women have and Brazilian women have. So men are finding that Brazilian women are a lot more easygoing and they're more feminine and things along that line. But you got to understand, no one man knows every woman here in America. You know what I'm saying? So they're just going by their experiences. And then they're going by, you know, statistics that they can read and by what they see in TV. But here's the problem. You go to Brazil, you're there for a weekend. You live here in America. You know what I'm saying? You don't watch Brazilian TV. You don't get Brazilian news, you know, the local news, because you don't live there. So, you know, the issues that they have over there, you don't know it as in depth as you do because this is where you live. And I'm sure those women have their issues too. So, you know, there's that. So I'm not really into that whole thing, but there is a large group of men who are marrying men and women from Brazil. And yes, that is causing a rift between Brazilian women and African American women. And so there's that whole argument. Yeah, he's probably from Brazil. So there's that whole argument. But so nonetheless, not necessarily I can't give advice for people who live in a certain area that you haven't heard before. Like, who am I to give people advice? What I can say is abstinence can save your life. At my job, and also Frustrated Black Men in Brazil on YouTube. Check it out. Yeah, I know the story that you're talking about. I watched it. It's a 2-hour story. And my brother is also somebody who travels to Brazil, and he has a girlfriend over there. And he keeps telling me, you know, the women here are much more different, yada, yada, yada. I'm not really interested in dating anybody right now, so I could care less. But there are, you know, what they're doing another thing that they're doing over there is it's almost like a mail order bride. The women over there they're prepping themselves like something out of the 13th, 14th century in order to find the husband. And it's like, you don't really see that here. So it's a whole different mind state on what they're doing over there. And then you have these men who are all American, pretty much, who come in and it's a regular, it's like a group dating thing. And they sit down and they talk to the women, and you have like 6, 7 women to one man trying to get him to pretty much marry her and take her back to the States. And, you know, I don't know how far they go from there, but there have been, you know, success stories from there. So that is a huge, huge thing now, what Brazil is doing. Just, you know, now, of course, that's pissing the black women off who want to be married, because they're like, we're not all bad. Like, you don't know all of us, you know what I'm saying? Still give us a chance. But like I said, those men who live here, and let me say this, it's not just black men that are doing this. This every nationality of man, okay, that are going to Brazil and bringing home these beautiful Brazilian women. So it's not like, you know, go beat up on a black man, but black men they're starting to talk about it more. You know, they're starting to be more open about it because they're starting to care less what black women think about them. They're just like, I'm done. I wanted a wife. I wanted somebody faithful. I couldn't find her here. Not to say she's not there, but I didn't find her here. I'm 45. I don't want to go another 20 years by myself. I'm going to go and try my hand over here. And they're very, very, very successful. So that is a thing. So that's what you're talking about. Getting back to the whole AIDS issue, that's not necessarily saying that those women don't have AIDS. And let me bring this up now that I'm talking about it. So I'm not even going to, well, I can go through the CDC. So if you guys want to hang on, I told you guys I wouldn't mind working for the CDC in Atlanta. And I believe the CDC is in Fulton County. Matter of fact, I know it is because I used to walk past it. I'm going to check the CDC, and then I'm going to check WHO. So, okay, I want to see. And I will check. I'm going to check Brazil first. All right, so HIV response, emerging infectious disease journals. Okay, so there's a bunch of journals. There's 1,635 journals covering the CDC, immigration, refugees, health, global HIV. Okay, so CDC, global health, Brazil. All right, so I'm going to look up this article here, and I'm going to scan through it. It's going to tell, okay, so the population of Brazil at a glance is, 204,519,398. So it's a lot of people. Per capita income, $15 an hour. Life expectancy, 79 to 71. Infant mortality, 19 for every 1,000 born. Okay, top 10 causes of death. Back pain, 6%. Heart disease, 6%. Cancer, 4%. Diabetes, 4%. Lower respiratory, 3%. Dehydrated, I don't know what that is. 2%. Diabetes, 2%. Interpersonal violence, 3%. Iron deficiency, anemia, 2%. HIV, 2%. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just read this. CDC establishes an office in Brazil in 2003. Okay, this is not important. Has since explained that the health of the area of Brazil works closely with the Minister of Health. Okay, works closely with the Minister of Health and other departments to maintain strong collaboration and programming and planning, monitoring and evaluating, strengthening epidemiology, surveillance, and build lab capacity. All right, let's see if you guys are still here. So 2 people are still listening. All right. I know it gets boring when I do this, but nonetheless. CDC and Investment in Science Exchange with Brazil contribute 3,000 oral fluid-based HIV tests were completed through the CDC support web-based HIV testing system, enhanced disease outbreak investigation and control. National. It's not telling me what I want to know. Immune, malaria. It's not telling me the exact statistic of how many people have AIDS, but it's saying 2% die each year. That's the problem with WHO. I don't know if I looked up World Health Organization. Okay, I'll just Google it. Because when you look on those WHO, CDC, it has so much information before it gives you what the crux of what you really want. So I'll just Google Brazil HIV rate. But it's good research. I use that for my papers. Okay. Number of people with HIV. El Salvador, 24,000. Uruguay, 12,000. Brazil, 830,000. 60% adult prevalence of HIV/AIDS. That's not 60% of Brazil, but 830,000 people have HIV or AIDS in Brazil. In the state, in the country of Georgia, is 12,000. So I don't know if you're still here, but there's a statistic for you. That's a lot of people. Out of 204 million, you have 830,000 people who have it. Yeah, a lot of black men are going to Brazil. But so there's your number right there, what you were alluding to. So there is a large population of people who have HIV or AIDS in Brazil. You know, I've heard that the stories about Brazil a while ago, so that doesn't surprise me. But that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And I would say that number is going to continue to grow, and by the end of next year, it'll be well over 1 million. Well over 1 million. As far as the people in Fulton County, just think, not even 6 months ago when we already looked at this subject, it wasn't even 6 months ago when we talked about this, it was 50%. Remember that? We went live and talked about that. And now, not even 6 months, now it's 70%. I would say by next March, it'll be 90 or more, and it will just keep going out. It'll just mushroom and just keep going out and keep going out. So there it is, Robert. Here's your information for you. Now I can tell you how many people in Atlanta actually do. Or do you want to know how many people in America actually have it? That's disgusting. Spreading disease. Well, the thing about it is some people have AIDS and don't know they have it. Some people have HIV and don't know it, because you got to understand, HIV lines, later, Tone, be blessed, later, man. You got to understand, HIV doesn't let you know that you have it until AIDS kicks in. And then you're weak all the time, and you might get blotches, hair might start falling out, things, your body changes. And when that change happens, then you're like, I need to go to the hospital. And they're like, well, you have AIDS. And or you could, just something can happen, car crash or something like that. You go to the hospital and, they take your blood, do blood tests on you, and then walk in there and say, hey, I know you just got in a terrible car crash, but I also want to let you know you have HIV. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. A lot of people don't even know they have it until they have to go for a checkup or something and say, hey, well, yeah, well, you have HIV. You're like, well, dang. And now you have ways of testing it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, I have HIV. How did I get it? How did I get it? So it is a thing. And now it's a common thing. When people first start getting it, everybody was just like, oh, put a plastic bag over them. Remember that? Because we were ignorant. Don't go around them. thought you could touch them and get it. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Government truck roll up and just put a bag over you. You have AIDS. Throw you in the back of the truck. People walk around with it every day. Don't even know they have it. Some people do know they have it. And then you have couples who know they have it and have known they had it before they even became a couple. And they're just living with it, just like two people who have hepatitis or something. They're just living with it. You have people who go through cancer living together because they've been through the same experience. Like, I know what you're going through, let's go. In Asia, in China especially, there's projects. They have a whole segment of projects, and all the people who live in those projects, they all have cancer. Because Asians love to smoke. They really do. They think it's chic. They get that off of American movie stars. Asians love to smoke. So a lot of them have cancer, and there's a whole projects that they just, boom, you guys live over here. And that's what they do. Puffing on cigarettes, dying from cancer. All of them have it. All. Isn't that crazy? But that's where they live. Because of the secondhand smoke that actually causes cancer. So you have a lot of situations where I don't want to be around your secondhand smoke because that's what causes the cancer. So they're just like, fine, we'll just go live over here. And the government's like, yeah, just go live over there. They live with a bunch of other smokers. Hey, man, no problem, man. Just doing my best. So I just wanted to talk about that, see if I can get some feedback from you guys, see what you guys thought about that. The growing rate of AIDS or of HIV that has not matured into AIDS, but the medicines that people are taking, the food that people are eating. So this is another thing that's interesting. Whenever an epidemic happens, well, this is not an epidemic, this is pandemic. 35 million people died from it. That's pandemic. That's not an epidemic. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it to you like this. The Black Plague wiped out 70 million people. It wiped out 1/3 of the Earth's population when it hit. The Black Plague. Pandemic. Okay? AIDS is pandemic. It was all started by an Englishman. They actually... it was titled something else, though. I forgot what it was titled. But basically, they wanted to try it out on human hosts. So they went over there and took it to Africa, to one of the countries in Africa, and told the people that it was an inoculation because they had already had some problems over there, probably that came from the European. And so you had people that lined up because they wanted to be cured of whatever it was they had. They gave it to children, and they knew what it was. And once it got into their system, it mutated. That's what they wanted to see. Is this going to turn into something else? And they basically killed 35 million people just because they wanted to. That's why you hear all these stories. It came from a green monkey. It did not. It came from an English doctor. My brother is a phlebotomist. So is my sister. So, he gives me a lot of information. But anyways, I had looked that up because I was like, this is just terrible. But they killed those people on purpose. But it really wasn't a big deal over here. It was killing people about 1 million in Africa, but nobody cared. But as long as it doesn't hit America, we're good. But, when it hit America, when you start seeing, Harvey Milk, he died from it. And when people really turned around and said, oh my goodness, this is a thing, is when Freddie Mercury died. Because he was a homosexual. He was a practicing homosexual. Black women are a cancer to black men. I'm not going to say all. I'm going to say we're all cancerous to each other because we listen to terrible music that calls our, each other out of our names. We're harsh to each other. Listen, the cancer didn't start with us. As soon as we let, the Jewish people tell us what to listen to, they just destroyed us. They took our music and just turned it against us. And now it's cool to call somebody the B word. And I don't get none of that. I don't get, just casually, just sick. Well, that is the thing. There are, and they're called fag hags. A lot of these black women pretend like they don't know their boyfriend was gay. Well, that's what they're called, fag hags. Now I'm gonna tell you something on that tip. Of course, I'm not nowhere near that arena. I'm a straight male, but here's one thing we've noticed: there's less black men in America than there is black women. It's just there's more girls being born than there is boys. We live violent lives. There's a better chance for us to die sooner than it is for women. Then you have the whole gay males going on, that thing happening, and you have gay women, but you got gay women who are straddling the fence. You got gay men who are doing the same thing too. But then you have, of course, the jail system. There's 2 million people in jail here in America, which is more than any other country in the whole wide world. And you have just statistic on how black men are being just wiped out. Police brutality, black on black crimes, just wiped out by the second, every day, wiping each other out. So then you have these women, especially the younger women, looking for men, and the so-called good guy or just guy is just not there. You have some cities where it's 14-1. In Columbus, Ohio, women outnumber us 2-1. Just imagine 14-1. I mean, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad. And it's not like the guy has to be this upper echelon 1%. No, they look, the requirements to having a man, if you're a woman, your boyfriend constantly anal sex, okay, don't curse on the channel. How the heck are you going to pretend like that? No, he's gay. You mean if he's asking her to do it to him? Is he getting it done to him? Because then that's an issue. Like, no, we're not doing that. But if he's doing it to her, that's different. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to figure out where were you going with that, but I didn't want to show it because of curse words. Nonetheless, there's constantly a drop in the male. It's okay, bro. It's constantly a drop in the male population, and it's constant rise in the female population. So the competition is very, very, very real. And when the preacher tells these women, "Oh, you can find a man," it's just like you're talking to out of 20 women, you're talking to 6. That's what you're doing. Oh yeah, lady, you can find a man. You take 20 of those women who are the age, let's just say marriage age, 21 to 35. Not to say if you're older than that, you're not getting married. We're just taking that statistic because those people are more likely to have children at that age. That's the only reason I'm saying that. So women look for a man to mate with and also to marry and then to mate with, so they can, have children. So that's why I'm saying that. When you look at the people in the females in that demographic, and you look at the men in that demographic, you have conflicting numbers that it's just not no way that all 20 women are going to come out with a husband. It's just not going to happen because the numbers are just not there. There's not enough men for you to marry. If he wants to do that to her, I think that's his sex, but that's my opinion. Now, if you think that that is a homosexual act, well, then that's something that you wouldn't do in your bedroom. But if there's a couple where he does that to the female, and she's like, yeah, I like it, that doesn't spell homosexual to me. If he does that and then turns around and starts dating guys, or if he was dating guys before he dated her, that's totally different. See, if you two were together, that's something that wouldn't happen in your bedroom. It wouldn't happen. You'd be like, man. Well, constantly, yeah. Okay, you're saying constantly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, that's an opinion. Too bad we don't have a statistic on that, because that would be interesting. You know, how often does your man ask you for, anal sex? So when the relationship's over, has he migrated to women? How many men have gone out with a man after, and then now that would be a very, very, very interesting statistic. Because if you're like, hey, once a week he'll ask me for it, or every day he asks me for it, and now he's dating a man, then you'd have some truth to it. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, you're absolutely right. Once they hit this number, this threshold, there's a good chance that person, has homosexuality tendencies. You know what I'm saying? So I never thought about that in that sense. I always looked at it as, nothing's defiled in the bedroom if you're married. That's your mate. You guys are doing that. Nonetheless, there are some things that I don't come over here with that, like pineapple. Like, get out. Pineapple, like, get on up out of here with that, because I'm not having that. You know what I'm saying? I've had some women say some crazy stuff to me, and I left them alone. I just couldn't take it anymore. They love to try to call you gay or something. I'd be like, I'm not gay. If I'm running around with you and trying to get your draws, then why? I don't mean anything. You hear women say that. Women that you've been with, that don't mean nothing. I still think you got some. I don't even deal with that no more. I don't even let them get that out their mouth. I just, as soon as I feel some kind of awkwardness that this person is going to demean my character and call me something I'm not, then but you got a lot of women who like to do that. You don't talk to them, they automatically, you're gay. I just don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You start speaking with certain words and verbiage, they're like, oh, you must be gay. You like to be neat, you know what I'm saying? Or about curtains or something like that, oh, you're gay. It's like, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't go out and party, you don't yell, you don't fight with these, oh, you're gay. I just don't get that. But I've experienced this, and I'm just like, I'm not gay. I have no interest in you whatsoever. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I like women, But then you're just talking to a brick wall, because that's their defense. That's their way of, trying to break you down and take away your manhood. But then that's when you just move on to another woman, or you just leave them alone. And I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with it. That's the mode I'm in. I just don't. I don't care. I don't care about what some woman's doing. I just don't. But nonetheless, for those of you who are still out there, seeking a woman, if she starts saying these things to you, then you should leave. You shouldn't even. Don't even give room to it. Just it's nice meeting you. You're wonderful, but no, I'm not doing this. I know what I am. I know what I do, and I'm not going to be questioned. I don't need you looking at me cross-eyed in the bedroom. I'm okay. That's not healthy for any one of us. So just roll out. I'm good. You want somebody who's hardcore and does all this rah-rah, go get them. Knock yourself out. I don't care. Bye. So, yeah. Nonetheless, so the statistics in Atlanta are very, very scary. And I would say for anybody who lives in that area, I lived in DeKalb County. And I lived in DeKalb County I've never lived in Fulton County. I lived in DeKalb County. Fulton County, I think, is downtown. So I didn't live downtown. I lived in DeKalb County, and because I used to go to DeKalb Mall. That was my hangout spot when I lived there. Ask yourself how all of these down low brothers are getting away with what they do. Black women like to emasculate black men because they love to control them. They love the control they have over these men. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I used to be one of those people who was easily controlled by the cookie because I wanted it so bad. And then I realized that these women want you as much as you want them. But it's how long are they going to stay? So I noticed a lot of the women I started dealing with just wanted to have sex with me. That's all they wanted. They didn't care about anything else. They didn't even want to listen to me talk. They're like, why haven't you told me to go upstairs yet? Or can you stop talking so we can? I've had women say this to me. Can you stop talking? They're like, I'm used to guys just taking my clothes off and putting me in a bed and screwing me. I'm like, maybe I'm too old fashioned or I'm outdated but going on a date and being romantic? So control or span of control it's something that you give. You give yourself into that. Okay, you too. Control or span of control is something that you give yourself into. So if you're not necessarily lusting, but looking for a mate, you're giving yourself into the control of looking for a mate. You understand what I'm saying? Now, as far as down low men, I really didn't do too much studies on down low men. You just hear about them. And the thing about them is they look just like the regular guy. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they're sleeping with other men. And for some reason, they think that this is okay. They're telling each other this is okay. You don't know it. You really don't know who this guy is until one of them approaches you and you're just like, wait, what? I had that happen to me, Guy I was cool with said something to me one day at a party, because I was talking about this fly girl who, she's still beautiful. She's in her 50s. She's still fine. But I was like, man, I'm trying to get with her, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, well, I can get with you. And I just froze. And I was like, did you just say what I think you did? And he was like, yeah. I said, nah, bro, I'm good. I never saw that guy again. I rolled out. I was the end of the party for me. I'm not interested. It just, now that I see what this is, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? So the span of control is what you give yourself into. I'll read your comment. Black women are the most superficial people on the planet, brother. They will be so here you go. For years, as long as they attracted to the brother, they cry on TV. You know, you have a point there. You see a lot of that. I don't appreciate the name, but nonetheless, you will see a lot of that. And my heart is, brothers are gullible. They fall for it every time. They really think that these women are lonely. I don't think that not one woman walking this planet is lonely, as if they can't find a man and are celibate. I don't. No woman tells me she don't have nobody, I automatically, I just say, cut it out. Just tell me the truth. Then you find out that they got not one, but they got 3 or 4. Last woman I asked this. You know, I said, oh, you got yourself a little Rollo. That's what I call it. Rollo come around. She's like, yeah, there's a couple of guys that come around, you know, that want to. I'm like, psh, I didn't even bother asking her for a number. It's like standing in line. I was like, nah, I'm good. But she told me the truth. I wouldn't even call her and ask her out. I have no interest at all. So I don't believe that any woman is walking around with no man. They're walking around. They may be walking around with the man that they don't want. You know, some of them are messing with married men, and the wife knows it. The wife knows. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of wives out here who are out here. They know. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that going on. I used to be wrapped up into some of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't suggest anybody get wrapped up into that. But I don't usually believe what a woman tells me. I would rather meet a woman and she has a man. Be like, oh, okay, you got a man? That's cool. Yeah. And be cool with her. And then she breaks up and be like, oh, what happened? See, I already know that you had a man. Y'all broke up. Boom. I know your steez. I know what's going on. But the chick who says, I'm single, I ain't got a man. Now you got somebody. You just going off, man. The last time a woman admitted to me she was promiscuous. I don't remember. Because girls, you know, they can tell you one thing, and then when you find out it's not that way, you change. You're like, oh, you really out here like that. And you change up on it, and you're just like, no more panting and falling all over you. No more, kissing you all the time. I know that when you leave my place that you kissing on somebody else. No more of that. No more sweet talk. No more telling you how wonderful you are. No more. See, that's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. They want you to think that they're the lily of the valley. And some women, I haven't met a woman who was straight up with me in a long time. and was that chick. Like everything she said, I believed. Like that I dated. I haven't met that woman in a long, like, I believe you. I would say 5 years. Maybe it was the last time I met a chick and I believed what she said. She's a cool chick. She's married now. She just got married, I think, this year. Other than that, I don't believe you. So, and I'm too old to spend all that time trying to figure it out. Yeah. Although I know a couple black women that has not happened to. But a large percent of them, yeah, there's something like that going on. I know a few of them that don't fall into that script. You know, well, a large percent of them do. A large percent of them do. You know. Some of them I felt sorry for. Because their mind is messed up. Then when they meet somebody like me, they eat up all your sweetness. They just eat it up. Be sweet to me. Be sweet to me. The majority of them, 90%. They're like, be sweet to me. I'm a good woman. Be sweet to me. Be sweet to me. And then run off and, you know, with somebody they don't even know. And I mean literally one night stand. And they're like, I was sweet to you. I was playing music for you and singing and doing all that romantic stuff. And you just left me like I wasn't even there. Why? Because I didn't want to wrestle with you and all this other. I didn't want to beat on you. You don't want me to wrestle with you. That's not what you want. That's not what you want. I had a girl try me. It's like, this is not what you want. You don't want me to wrestle with you because I don't lift weights to try to beat up on women. This is in case I got to protect a woman. You don't want my mind to shift to you and you are now my physical competition. That's a losing battle. Like it just hurt me so much that she took me there. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. I just don't. Well, I'm at the age where I don't care. I want to, but I don't. I want to. But I don't think that every black woman is some type of manipulating, you know, somebody trying to get over on me. I just, you know what I don't do? I don't put a lot of thought into it. I listen to what they say, and if I think that it's, I listen to what they say, and if I think that it's going in that direction, I'm like, okay, this is what it is. You know, not to mention, you know what's really surprising? The amount of black women who have found interest in me. That's surprising. I'm going to tell you why that surprises me. Is because I'm older. You know, I'm 52 this month. And at my age, I get such a wide range of women who are interested in me. Collectively. Sometimes in the same household. It's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You would think at my age that would slow down. Doesn't. I really thought it would. I'm like, I'm 50 now. I thought it would slow down at 40. Doesn't. I'm like, the younger female, she's not going to look at me. That's a lie. They will game on you in a heartbeat. They will come after you. Little 26, 27 will be on you in a heartbeat. On you. You'll be like, I'm 50 years, I don't care. They'll be on you. It's just the dynamics have changed, you know? And the only reason why I'm not dating right now is because my mind is more focused on success. I just don't want to give time to it. I want to get back into school. I know I just got out, but that's what I want more than anything right now. I want to get right back into college and get my master's degree and maybe my doctorate's degree. I've been thinking about it every day, all day. At first, I didn't want to get a doctorate's degree, but now I'm thinking, you know what? It would be a heck of an accomplishment for me to have a doctorate's degree. And so now my mind is swimming around dissertations and theses and all kind of other stuff, and Grammarly.com and Turnitin.com. Like, I long for that stuff. And I know that's crazy because, you write 30-page dissertations and theses and all this other stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to spend my time learning. So I don't really have room in my mind to go out and start putting up with someone and try to peel back the layers and find out who they really are. It's exhausting. I wish you could just know, like, fill out baseball cards and trade them, be like, okay, this is who you really are. I'm with it. Let's go. It's just not like that. You got to get around the ex-boyfriends and get around the guys who are just sleeping with casually. And dude, that's your girl. You can have her. I just don't care. I want to put my nose in the books. That's where I want to be. Yeah. That's where I want to be. I don't really care about having somebody to wake up to. I've done that for years. Got my heart busted. Yeah, I've been busted up too many times. I just don't care. But I still get hit on. Driving down the street, somebody will pull up next to me and say something to me. That happened to me not too long ago. I had a 22-year-old hit on me before. I was like, we was on the highway. She waved at me on the highway from another car. And I was like, she was like, pull over. I was like, how old are you? She was like 23. And with an attitude like 23, like what? I'm like, all right. I'm like, oh. I was in my 40s then. She was 23. So that stuff still happens to me. I still get hit on. But I don't go to those places where there's a large group of women to hit on me. I don't party and stuff like that. I don't really care about those situations. I don't miss it. The word says come out from among them. So, and then I don't go to these churches, large churches and stuff like that where people can scope you out. And when I do, I don't go there wearing the biggest, suit and tie and look at me, I'm the man. I don't care about none of that. When I go to church, I want to get the word. I want to praise. I want to worship. I want to run around the building and scream hallelujah. I could care less who's looking at me. I don't feel like peeling back the onion and finding out it's rotten in the middle. More time spent. I just don't care. Okay, I'm 34 and I don't know one black man that's having a happy relationship. Do I know any black man that's in a happy relationship? Yeah, I do. Well, he's older. I would say him, but I think there's some issues going on. No, a couple of them. Few. They're out there. Relationships take work. Takes work, man. You gotta be willing to work. You gotta have whenever you start looking for somebody to date, you need to, pack a lunch because it's gonna be a long day. Like Pittsburgh, I say I'm from Pittsburgh. The women in Pittsburgh are beautiful and desperate. And I'm talking about legal age on up. I'm talking about 18 on up to 80. Because the murder rate of black on black crime with men and women, but especially men, is ridiculous. They're just falling off like leaves. So you will have a group of women who will all hit on the same person. And that has literally happened to me. Literally. Yeah, some of them do. I used to go clubbing in Pittsburgh. Such a good time. Because the girls didn't play games. They didn't. When they laid eyes on you, it was time to go. This is true. It was time to go. If I really wanted to look for a mate, I go back to the city where I'm from. Find one in a day. I mean it. I mean it. In a day. They're like, what? What's good? What you got going on? Let's go. Let's rock. That's their attitude. What your problem is? You got bunions? I can work with bunions. You know what I'm saying? Like their standards. It's not like everybody's looking for a baller. They're like, I just need a regular, everyday, holding it down, one of them. Every day. Because they were hitting on me, and I'm an everyday dude. I ain't no gangster. I ain't no baller. Well, some of them don't. I'm just telling you my experience from the city I'm from. These women are gorgeous. So I can't put all the women in that category, bro. I can't say all black women this, all black women that. because some of the ones I've met have been so straight. It just wasn't my time. It wasn't. But a lot of what you're talking about is true, because I've been through that too. And it's just like, I don't want to go through this again. My family members have been through it. Terrible, terrible experiences. I'm with you. But I can't say everyone. I can't say everyone. Then you got to think. See, I have an affinity for dark-skinned black women. I got it bad for them. Like, I got it terrible. And I've been led to slaughter because of that. I really have. I have been chopped and screwed just because of that one thing that's always calling me. That dark skin, that chocolate, beautiful Kandaki female, it is always calling my name. And it's to the point now where I'm just like, I don't want to hear it. But when I see them, I'm just like, oh my goodness, they look so good. But I know that the girls look so good, but their mind's not ready. Like, I know if I hit on this, I'm gonna go through a whole whirlwind of emotions and anger and jealousy that I don't have room for anymore. But I love to look at them. So that's my position now. It's just like, I don't want to search through your phone. I don't want to be creeping outside of your house and see who's coming to see you. If that's what you got going on, then hey, I'm so straight. I told you before, every time I've been to jail, it's because of a black woman. Every single time, it was because of a black woman. Took me years to figure that out. Every single time. But I still think that there's some out there that are just the bee's knees. I just don't go looking for them anymore. I used to go to the spots where they are, and the natural girl with the big booty, oh my goodness, son. Yes, let's have babies, let's grow up. All that out the window. I want to have babies with you. Gone. With the natural nappy hair and the, woo! Just tell her she wonderful. She didn't care. Went out and had a one night stand. I'm done believing that that woman exists. But, yeah, I was one of those dudes. See, I don't date white women anymore. I don't go that route. I just don't date. I'll probably end up with an Asian girl or something. She gotta be thick. Nah. It's either a dark-skinned black woman for me or nothing. That's what I'm attracted to. I want little black kids. What I wanted. Little chocolate children, just black as me. But I am old and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I have no more energy for it. I don't have any energy for that. I don't have time for the lies. I'm fighting with these men over you and stuff that you're causing. You blinking your eyes at these dudes, and I'm supposed to put up with your garbage. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. If I ever met an independent black woman who says sleeping with different men empowers her, dude, I will stop that conversation so quick. I will stop that conversation. I'll be like, you what? Okay. And I'm done. Like if we're driving to the movies and she says something to me like that, I'll be like, oh, all right. I will turn that car around so quick. What happened? I'm taking you home. Like I'm taking you home. And I'm going home. That'd be it. Well, yeah, I'm not with that. Well, brother, I'm about to head off. You take it easy, man. God loves you. Stay prayed up, man. Love you, bro. Peace out.